All right, y'all. Bitcoin, Ethereum, pretty much the whole market right now is crashing. Let's discuss. Let's discuss. Peace to everybody. In the name of Yeshua the Messiah and Jesus the Messiah, I pray that all of you are blessed. And I hope that all of you got a sweet short. We will be live momentarily to discuss the targets and also some ideas about what the future holds, looking for good trades in a bearish trend. $3,000 likes on this stream, guys, while the stream is still live, and I will give away 0.1 BTC, which will be worth $7 in 1 hour. Yes, y'all, this is Fibmaster J in the house. John Melling says, I hope you have good news, Billy. Guys, I do have some good news. I have some good news. The good news is that Bitcoin is volatile. And as traders, volatility is our good friend. All right, y'all. Welcome to the stream. I pray that all of you are blessed. All right, we have a lot to talk about today, y'all. Welcome. I'm glad we can be here and enjoy this experience together right now. Enjoy this experience together. So currently, guys, I was away all day at religious services, and I do not trade on Saturdays. I get home from service, I take a look at what's going on, and I notice we have a very, very clean rejection off of this key level, which we had lost. We lost it here, we reclaimed it, and then we just kept on doing the lower highs. And when I saw that we were getting a rejection, which also was a lower high after a fake out of this triangle, I actually entered a short position right here, y'all. Entered a short position right there. That short position is currently up right now, 57%. I'm also in an ETH short. I've had this ETH short open for quite a long time. ladies and gentlemen, my good fellows and female fellas, if that's even right. Also, shout out to TK Movies. Anybody who knows who TK Movies is, he's a good friend of mine. What I want to do in this video, guys, is I want to talk about, well, first of all, do we have any targets for this? Do we have any targets for this? Where can we look for a bounce? Are we going to get a bounce? Is this the end of the bull market for certain? Is there hope? Is there hope? Well, I would like to say that, right now, we can see slight bullish divergences forming on the momentum here. Let us turn on a regular RSI for a second. Yeah, the RSI also gives a bullish divergence on the 1 minute. Bullish divergence on the 1 minute. Let's take a look at this from a macro perspective, and then we will zoom in. We will zoom in. So on the weekly time frame, let me zoom out. You guys will notice that we are at a very, very key area. In fact, we're losing a very, very key area on the weekly time frame, and we only have one more day left, 23 hours and 9 minutes left on this weekly candle. And the level that we are about to lose right now is this this right here, this $35,000 level. This is a daily level of support and resistance. It's a high volume node. It's actually the point of control of the entire range that we were trading back in January. Not only that, but it is a 618 level from the Thanksgiving dump, right? There was a dump on the American holiday known as Thanksgiving where nobody really knows what it's about. There's a whole bunch of different stories, but basically we eat a whole bunch of food and celebrate the fact that we're gluttonous, fat Americans. And if we pull the fib from the low of that dump to the all-time high, we can see that we are currently, right now, right as we speak, this is a... This is the golden ratio that we are currently in right now. Okay, we might possibly lose this. This is a very significant level. If we pull a fib, as I am wont to do, from the COVID dump to the all-time high, we can see that we are currently losing the 0.5 Fibonacci level. Also a very significant level right now that we are currently losing. And I've been saying for quite some time that, if we lose this $35,000 level, and if we close this weekly candle below that, I think that's very, very significant. Very significant. So where are some targets if we're expecting more downward movement from here? Where are some targets? Well, I would say that the next really, really big target would be right around here, right around 26.5. And the reason for that is because this $26.5 thousand region is the golden ratio from the COVID dump to the all-time high. So it makes sense that we would find some kind of support here. Shout out to Super Googly, who says, fib showtime. Yeah, I love to show the fib, guys, on the camera, on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube for not censoring the fib, okay? I would be looking down here to the $26,000 level for possible support. Okay, before we get there, of course, I would be looking at 30K because that's where we came down to last time, right? So we have that support at 30K. But honestly, 26K, and then after 26K, my next target would honestly be between 22 and 23, and I'll show you why I have that as one of the targets that I'm looking for a significant bounce from. Of course, all I'm doing is I'm coming up with possible scenarios, right? I'm not saying for sure that is going to happen. But yes, definitely this area right here, this is the 618. Let's just say that the 618 from the COVID dump. So that's an important level. If we turn on our good old VPVR indicator, Well, we can also see that we have a high volume node right around here as well. So we have a nice high volume area. This is also pretty much a weekly level. This is pretty much a weekly level right here. So we got a weekly high volume node. And so, I'd be expecting us to find support, around 26, 23, if we just keep on dumping, guys. If we just keep on dumping. Of course, some areas we could find support as well. The 55 EMA on the weekly. Let me also do this here. Just to look for other areas where we may find support, let's pull out our fixed range indicator. And let's just pull it from here to here. Actually, let's do this on the daily time frame. Let's do this on the daily time frame. Yeah, we'll do it on the daily right quick. Yeah, that's giving us that's giving us about 35 also, but the low of that range is 31. All right, so these are pretty much the areas that I would be looking to find support on. Okay, the first area is right down here around 31. Okay, because this is the value area low of this entire range. You can see that clearly right here. Then we've got the 618 from the COVID dump. Then we have this weekly high volume node. If we are indeed going to come down lower, these are areas where I would be looking for a bounce. I would really be looking for a bounce off of those areas. Now, there's something I was noticing as I was looking at the Bitcoin charts where really, because the question on everyone's mind is the bull market over? Chris Crespo wants to know, am I still short from 59K? No, I closed out that position. Right now, I'm short from 35. I'm short from 35. I'm short from 35, and this is that trade right now. I've already taken profit out of it too, because the thing is, guys, I'm not confident to hold this as a swing trade right now. Absolutely not. I'm not confident. In fact, we might, it looks like we're very possibly getting the bounce right here, because we've got this money flow curving. We've got this money flow curving up. Yeah, we'll have to see if we come up above this level. Then we know that we're starting to do the higher highs on the 1 minute time frame. But we saw the bullish divergences coming in at the beginning of the stream on the RSI, on Market Cipher, right? We're coming down the price. The RSI and Market Cipher were coming up. But yeah, I'm currently short from 35K. So I got in right around here. And currently that's up about 3.5%. I am not selling any of my Bitcoin, guys. I'm not selling any of my Bitcoin. I take profits on the way up. I do not take profits on the way down. That's not how I roll. That is not how I roll. Yeah, so I was taking a look at something that I thought was quite interesting, which is if we go to the Bitcoin from its inception, we go to the monthly time frame and turn on the regular RSI. I thought this was interesting. At the end of every bull cycle, there's been a double top on the RSI. Right now, our RSI peaked out at about 91.32. In the previous bull cycles, it peaked out much higher. It peaked out at about 96. I guess that's not much higher. But I was thinking to myself, is it possible, and it could be possible, it very well could be possible. Back here in the 2013 bull cycle, we peaked out in about April. The RSI dumped all the way back down to like a neutral range, and then we got another peak, and we got another massive pump. And it looks, as I was looking at it, it kind of intrigued me, and it made me think, a lot of people are talking about that, right? That old double cycle that we got back in 2013, where basically what happened was we came up, we had a massive, and this is the monthly. Remember, guys, this is the monthly. This is not the weekly here. So on the monthly time frame, we had this pretty much this massive bull run that ended in a massive correction. Let's see. About 76%, a 76% correction. And then what happened was we ended up coming back up on the RSI. The bull cycle did not end until we got that double top on the RSI. And from that 76% correction, we ended up with a 1700% pump right there. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen exactly like this, or that the percentages are going to be that drastic. Okay, but it is just interesting to note that in the previous crashes, we've had this double top on the RSI. And even in 2017, we had a very major correction before a super pump. And it really was interesting to me that we had our first, we peaked out in April back in 2013, had a correction throughout May, June, and then in July we started to pump again. And also, when I was pulling out my fib from this older place, right, this older Bitcoin place, because everybody knows how much I do love to pull out the fib. I'm a big fan of the fib. I think that fibs are, if you're not using your fib, then you're missing out, guys. You're missing out. If you're not pulling your fib, you're missing out. So I pulled this fib from the swing low to the swing high. Actually, that's not the swing low. Sorry, guys. This is the swing low. Where did I pull this fib from? I pulled it from somewhere, and I noticed something interesting. Now I can't find it. I should have saved the fib on my object tree. Guys. But I didn't do that. I did not do that. So never mind about the fib. Just something I thought was interesting. Now, if we come back to where we're currently at right now, let me pull this up here and see. Let's see how we're doing now on like the 1 hour. Are we getting a pump? Are we getting a major pump right here? Our next major fib level on the way down here is the 618, the golden ratio. That is one of the most common places to get a bounce. If we're in a powerful uptrend, one of the most common places to get a bounce is off the 618, which is right around $26,000. So, I'm sorry, it's right around $23,000. Just be very interesting to see what happens when we come down here. Very interesting to see what happens. Let me pop into the chat, see if there are any questions. Then I want to talk about, these are the levels. These are my levels, guys. These are my levels. Under 35K, if we're under 35K, these are the levels that I'm looking at to enter large positions. These are the levels I'm looking at to enter large positions. Let me pop into the chat, and then I want to talk about how we can find good trade setups. Guys, if we can get this video up to 1,000 likes, I will give away the course for free. If we can get this video up to 3,000 likes, I will give away 0.1 BTC. 0.1 BTC. Shout out to Larry Moore, who says, Benjamin Cohen says the bear market till the end of the summer, then bull market continues well into 2022. That could be awesome. Yeah, there are some bullish divergences forming on the 1 to 4 hour time frames, for sure. And that's also true, Money Mikey, that Bitcoin has never retraced to a previous cycle's all-time high. Shout out to A Profile, who said, I would super chat you, but I'm broke. That's why I'm here. Love you, A Profile. thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Clay says, good question, Clay. Please explain why you wouldn't sell some Bitcoin before a 50 to 70% correction, then buy back at a lower price. My strategy, guys, is not to sell on the way down, okay? I was selling Bitcoin on the way up. I accumulate Bitcoin on the way down. I sell on the way up. I accumulate on the way down. That is how I roll. I don't like to sell on the way down. So what I really want to talk about, guys, in this video is, because who cares at the end of the day? Who cares if Bitcoin comes down to 26 to 23 to 18 to 60K to 100K? For us Bitcoin hodlers, obviously we care about that. But this is long-term stuff. As traders, how are we going to profit on this? How are we going to profit trading Bitcoin on a day-to-day basis, right? Because if we're doing this to get some nice income, we don't care really what the price of Bitcoin is. We just care that there's volatility. And if there's crazy volatility like what we're seeing right now, then that's all we really care about. And so what I want to talk about in this video is how are we going to find those good trades that are going to allow us to be profitable during any kind of market, whether it be a bear market, whether it be a bull market, doesn't really matter. How are we going to profit in any type of market? Let me see here. Boom. I want to talk about this. I made a video about this a few days ago, but basically what happened was I was talking to a friend. A good friend of mine, and he was like, Jason, I don't get how to find good trades. Seems like whenever I go long, the market goes down. Whenever I go short, the market goes up. And another thing, I get confused. I understand that you're using Market Cipher to find good trade entries, but I get confused because when I go to the 4-hour time frame, it looks like we're going up. Looks like we're going to print a green dot. In fact, we were just printing a green dot recently on the 4-hour time frame, yet we had this little dump, right? Then I go to the 1-minute time frame. It's telling me to go short. I go to the 4-hour time frame. It's telling me to go long. I don't understand. What do I do? How do I find those good entries? And so what I did was I sent him this strategy, trading with Market Cipher. This is a step-by-step guide to really finding good and consistent trades. And this right here is, I was looking at some horse sheds to get for the goats. And also I was looking at some condenser mics to get so I wouldn't have to talk into my computer. Let me close out all these tabs here. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, I was talking to my good friend TK Movies. Shout out to TK. What a handsome fellow. What a truly handsome fellow. And so guys, I came up with this strategy right here. This is the strategy that I mostly use to trade with Market Cipher. And so I want to go over it, and if anybody has any questions, we can ask at the end, and maybe I can clarify. So basically, there's 3 things that we need to do in order. We need to do these 3 things in order. These are the order of operations. It's like if you do them in any other order, it's not going to work. There's a step-by-step process. The first step is you have to know how to mark levels of support and resistance. That's the first step. And it doesn't have to be too crazy. It doesn't have to be too difficult. Okay? You can simply just open up a chart, and I use a whole bunch of things to come up with levels of support and resistance. I really do. I use a whole bunch of different things to come up with levels of support and resistance. But all you really need to do is to be able to look at a daily chart, a 4-hour chart, any kind of chart, and just find areas where price has found a sticking point. And I go over this in a lot of my streams. I know a lot of people already know how to do this. And if you want to know how to do this in depth, go to jasoncaspertrading.com, sign up for my course, because you will learn how to do this, how to find those levels that you can really trust. But even if you're totally new to trading and you've never traded before, okay, let's say that you've never traded before, you don't know anything about support and resistance. What you're going to do is you're going to pull open a chart. You're going to go to the daily time frame, and you're just going to find places where price has found a sticking point in the past. Like, for example, right here, we can see that price reached a peak. And so what do? You just draw a horizontal line there. And then right here, this yellow line, you can see that price reached a sticking point right here as well. All these lines, you see that price has reached a sticking point. You're going to draw a horizontal line on your chart. You could even draw one right down here at about 24K, right? I would draw one around 23,000, right? Price found a sticking point, do Control H, you got a horizontal line there. This is very important because this is going to be the foundation for our trade entries. This is going to be the foundation of our trade entries right here. And the way we're going to get this, we're going to use volume, we're going to use fibs, we're going to pull out our fib, we're going to use daily levels of support and resistance. We're going to use trend lines. We could even use patterns like triangles. Okay? Once we have some market structure marked out on our chart, okay, that's when we are going to be able to use Market Cipher to really know, at least have a very good chance, high probability, low risk trade setup. And that's what we want. We want high probability, low risk trade setups. In fact, one of the things that I feel messes up traders the most is over trading. Trying to trade all the time, trying to always look for a trade instead of being patient and waiting for a perfect setup, because it's easy to backtest and find good setups in hindsight. But it's hard. It's hard to open up a chart, excited to trade, and trying to force a trade onto the chart instead of letting the good trades come to you. Instead of letting those good trades come to you. So let's take a look at some potential short entries that we could have had the past few days. Okay, let's go down to the 4-hour time frame, and let's take a look at this. Well, there's a lot of there's so many different trades we could look at. There's so many different trades we could look at. We could look at this one right here, this short. Basically, once you have your levels of support and resistance marked out, you are only going to enter a trade when we come to one of those lines, okay? When we come to one of these lines, that's when you are going to look to enter a trade. You should not even think about entering a trade unless price comes to one of these lines. So after you have your lines of support and resistance marked out, you're going to set an alert on these lines. You're going to set an alert on these lines. The way you're going to do that is you're going to come here, you're going to click it, right-click it, click Add Alert, and you're going to give it a name so that you know what it is, okay? So that you know what it is. You give it a funny code name like this: granola and Greek yogurt in the fridge, exclamation point, smiley face. And you're going to create that alert, okay? Now, what this does is when you create an alert, it actually creates an alert. Would you believe that? And once this alert is created, it will actually send a text to your phone as long as you click Notify on App, and it will let you know that price is coming up to your level of support and resistance. And remember, if this is potentially going to happen when you are asleep, make sure you click once per minute, because this will wake you up. It will give you an alert every minute. If you do only once, you'll sleep through that, okay? You will sleep through that. Once price gets to your level, now you become interested in entering a trade. And the second order of operations is when you get that alert, you are going to now open up the higher time frames to assess the environment to determine whether price is looking to come up or looking to come down. I like to go in this order: 4-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour. So just to recap, prices come to one of the levels that we marked out in our chart. We got our alert. We open up trading view, and now I like to start with the 4-hour time frame. So let's go back in time. Let's go back in time to right here, okay? Come back in time to right here. Right here. Because we had this level marked out and price came down, and now price has come back up to our level. It's touched our level. We get our alert. We get our trading alert. And now we come to the 4-hour time frame. What are we going to look for on the 4-hour time frame? Well, we want to see what direction price is looking to head. Now on the 4-hour time frame, what does it look like? It looks like the VWAP. Well, first of all, we're currently printing a red dot. We're currently printing a red dot, right? Which means we have downward momentum. But at the same time, the VWAP is looking like it's about to cross above the zero line. So it's a little bit inconclusive, right? It's a little bit inconclusive. We don't know if this giant blue candlestick is going to get another green dot printing right up here that's going to hoist us through that resistance, or are we going to come down a little more? We don't know. So because we don't know, we need to zoom in a little bit. Let's go to our 2-hour time frame. Now the 2-hour time frame is honestly looking kind of bullish right here. It's looking kind of bullish. What I mean by that is it looks like we're about to print a green dot on the 2-hour time frame. Okay? Looks like we're about to print a green dot on the 2-hour time frame, which might make you think we're going to blast through this resistance right here. Okay? It might make you think that. We're not totally sure. We need to come down to the 1 hour and see what's going on the 1 hour. Okay. On the 1 hour, guys, we can see that we have printed the green dot a few candles ago. Okay? We came up. We can see that the VWAP is kind of weak looking, right? It's kind of weak looking. It looks like it's kind of about to curve over and come back down below the zero line. What I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm going from the higher time frames to the lower time frames to try and assess what direction the price is going to go when it comes up to our level, because there's really only one of two options. Either we're going to break the resistance or we're going to reject off the resistance. Now, most of the time, when we come to a resistance, most of the time we will reject off of that resistance. That's why it's called a resistance. Take a look. This was our support throughout all these years here, okay? And then it became our resistance. And every time we hit it, we reject. Every time we hit it, we reject. We hit it here, we had a small rejection. Then we did come up above it, but what happened? We fell back below it, and we had a retest and a rejection. So now we're coming back up to it. We're assessing from the 4 hour down to the 1 hour that it looks like we are getting that upward momentum, but as we come to the lower time frames, we can see that the momentum is actually pretty weak. It's pretty weak. And if we come to the 30-minute time frame, it's a little bit inconclusive. It's a little bit inconclusive. And so this could be one of the instances where you might say, okay, I'm not even going to enter a trade because I don't have enough data on the higher time frames that are telling me which way to go. But then you would come down to the lower time frames, maybe come down to the 6-minute, maybe come down to the 3-minute, maybe come down to the 1 minute, okay, to the 1 minute. And what we are going to be looking for here is we are going to be looking for divergences, direction, and money flow cross. What I mean by that is divergences, meaning we want to see price coming up, price printing higher highs, while momentum simultaneously printing lower highs. Okay, momentum simultaneously printing lower highs. We see that right here. We see that divergence. This is a hint to us that as price is coming up, the momentum that is pushing the price up is getting weaker. And that means Bitcoin is becoming overvalued. It means Bitcoin is becoming overvalued. And it means we need to have a correction. The reason they call it a correction is because the price of Bitcoin is correcting. It's correcting from a higher overvalued price to a fair price. Once we see the divergences coming in, now what we want to see is a clear direction on Market Cipher. Now, Market Cipher is an indicator that really shows us the market structure as a whole. It's showing us the market structure as a whole. It's taking the price action and it's converting it into another language, a visual language. And it's showing us we can outline Market Cipher and we can see the direction of the market. We know that when we come down, right, and we're printing red and green dots exclusively below the zero line, it means that eventually we need to come back up. And when we're printing red and green dots exclusively below the zero line, that means we're in a powerful downtrend. When we're printing red and green dots exclusively above the zero line, that means we're in a powerful uptrend. This is true for all time frames. Okay? So if you notice that we're printing everything exclusively below the zero line, and then you start to see direction moving upward like this, where we're starting to print dots above the zero line, you can tell that we're going to come up. Let's take a closer look at that. When we start to print dots above the zero line after printing them below for so long, it means we're about to start to come up. And what do you know? As we are printing red and green dots higher above the zero line, we actually are moving up. And the key that was telling us we're going to move up was, well, first of all, we had a divergence, right? Price was coming down while momentum was going up. And then we saw the momentum waves start to print above the zero line. This is telling us that we're going to go up. So when we come to our level of resistance, okay, that we've already marked out, that this is a level of resistance. We know it's resistance, so we're already looking for a short when we come up here. And then we see momentum coming down. Simultaneously, price is coming up, right? Price printing higher highs, momentum printing lower highs. Then we see this. After printing red and green dots exclusively above the zero line, all of a sudden now we're printing red and green dots down here. This is a sign that the price is indeed rejecting and coming down off of that resistance. And so you have a few options. You could wait until we have a money flow crossover. That's actually the safest way, is to wait for a money flow crossover. To be honest with you, this specific trade that I'm showing you right here in the past is not necessarily the best setup. It's not the best setup. And to be honest, I don't know if I would have taken this trade in real life. But it's still giving us some confirmation. We have the divergence. And what you would do is you would enter your short position. Okay, you would enter right here. You would set your stop loss above that last swing high. You would set your take profits. The way you are going to set your take profits, guys, is you are going to basically go back in time and look for support and resistance levels on the 1 minute time frame, right? You could see one clearly right here, right where I have my cursor, right? This was a support, resistance, support. And you're going to find areas where price found that sticking point, and those are going to be where you set your take profits, because there's a very good chance that price will retrace back to those areas, and you'll be able to take your profits there, okay? Now, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with this trade. I actually don't know what's going to happen with it. So this is a good trade, a good live example, because I honestly don't know. Okay, we come down, boom, we hit our first take profit. Look at what happens when we hit our first take profit, guys. We do get a reaction, right? This is why it's important to look for those levels of support and resistance in the past, because look, we come down and we come up and get a perfect retest off of that level. Now, once you hit your first take profit, what I like to do is I like to move my stop loss to my entry and take maybe 30 to 40% out of the trade. What this does is it guarantees that we're going to win the trade, guarantees it, right? If we get stopped out, it's a winning trade. If we don't get stopped out, well, we have two possibilities. We're either going to win a little or we're going to win a lot. So let's see what else happens here. Boom, we hit our second take profit, and we even get a little reaction off of it. Now maybe take another 10, 20% out of the trade, okay, which means you've taken like maybe 50, 60% out of your trade, and you just let the rest ride. You let the rest ride. Hit our third take profit, take a little bit out, keep letting it ride until, eventually we hit all of our take profits. That was a good trade. You could leave a little in there to keep it going, or you could close out the position and look for the next trade. But this is how we're going to do it. This is the order. We're going to do our support and resistance. We're going to assess the environment on the higher time frames. Ideally, we would want to see the higher time frames showing us a direction and then get the confirmation of that direction on the lower time frames. So let's see if we can find a better trade setup here. Let's see if we can find a better trade setup. Clay wants to know the duration of that trade. Probably a few hours, my friend. Probably a few hours. And honestly, these are trades that I will, let me just actually check and see. Okay, 46%. Shout out to TK Movies, by the way. TK Movies holding it down. Shout out to Carl from the Moon, my good friend Carl from the Moon. You know, shout out to Carl. You know, my good friend. My good friend. You know, my dream as a cryptocurrency YouTuber is to collaborate with Carl from the Moon. And also, TK Movies, bro, if you ever want to come on the stream, you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome to come on the stream, my friend. Okay? He is more than welcome. Absolutely more than welcome. Let's come to the Discord here. See what people are saying in here. This guy, shout out to Nagod in my Discord, bringing the good TA. You know, he's probably not watching the stream right now, but he says, you know, we've been having the bullish divergences since we lost 50K. The RSI don't care about, the dump don't care about no RSIs. You know, he's kind of right. Let's see if we can find a better trade setup in here. One that's a little bit more, giving us a little bit more confirmation. A little bit more confirmation. Because here's the thing. We don't need to take every single trade setup that we come across. We don't need to take every single trade setup that we come across, guys. You know, it's we can take as many trades as we want, but there's nothing wrong with waiting for the perfect setup, right? The perfect setup. There's absolutely nothing wrong with waiting for the perfect setup. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at another short that we could have taken right here. Actually, I think my levels might have gotten messed up from that chart. Unfortunately, guys, I need to redo my levels. I do. I think that they got moved somehow. I think that they somehow got moved. Let me see what's going on here. Oh man. There was a short that I took. That was a very good short, and it was like the perfect setup, and I'm trying to remember where it was. It was a few days ago. And I feel like it was around here. But I feel like this level might have gotten moved, but I don't remember now. I don't remember. How did I even get that level? I had a 786 fib pulled up on this chart. Where's my fib? Stand by, guys. Stand by. Man, my chart got messed up. Don't you hate? Don't you hate when your chart gets messed up, guys? Don't you hate when your chart gets messed up? I absolutely hate when my chart gets messed up. I absolutely hate it. I do know we had this whole head and shoulders thing going on. Yeah, let's take a look at this right here. Let's just take a look at this and see if we can see anything. Let's go back to this trade right here. Okay. let's say that we wanted to short this, okay? Let's say that we had this level marked out, this level right here at about 40.4. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was TK Movies that messed with my chart. We have a 10-minute yellow X right now. We have a 10-minute yellow X. All right, actually, you know what? Let's not look at a short. We just looked at a short. Let's look at a long. Let's look at a long position that we could have taken, okay? Let's look at the bounce that we got because this trend line has not been moved, okay? Let's take a look at a bounce that we could have gotten off of this trend line right here, okay? What would we have been looking for to know that we were going to get a bounce off of here that we could have entered a sweet long position? Well, first of all, we needed to have already had this this trend line marked out, okay? If we didn't have the trend line marked out, because it wouldn't have been established yet, we would have had still this horizontal line of support and resistance marked, right? This horizontal line of support and resistance, we can see it was our resistance back here. It was our support here. All throughout here, it was our support. It got flipped into resistance. Then it was support again. Then it was support again. Now we come back down to this support right here. Now, step number one is, what did we do? We marked our support and resistance levels. All I did was I looked at the chart. I said, hey, look, price found a sticking point here on the 4-hour, the 2-hour time frame. I'm just going to mark a level here. And then when price comes down to this level, that's when I'm going to get interested in a trade. So I set my alert. And now, what do you know? Price comes down to that level, and I get my alert. It says, alert, alert, alert. There's Greek yogurt and granola in the fridge. And when I get that alert, I open up my charts. And I say, hey, price is coming down to one of the levels I marked out. I'm getting very interested in a trade. The first thing I do is I go to the 4-hour time frame. And what does the 4-hour time frame tell me? What I'm looking for on the 4-hour time frame is I'm looking for a sign that we're starting to bottom out. If I come to one of my levels and I'm looking to long a support and I see that we're currently printing a red dot, I will never enter that trade. I will never enter a trade long if the 4-hour is printing a red dot. Again, if price comes down to one of your supports and the 4-hour is printing a red dot, do not enter a long. What you want to see is that the red dot was printed a few candles ago. So we have this red dot and then we have 4, 8, 12. Okay, I know my 4 times tables. 3 candles have gone by since we printed that red dot. This is telling us there's a potential we could be reaching a bottom. We zoom into the 2-hour time frame. It looks like we could be printing a bottom, right? The VWAP is starting to horizontal out. It looks like we could be curving upward. Then we come down to the 1-hour. What do we see on the 1-hour? Wow. Really looks like we might be curving to the upside. Now we know we're coming to a support. Okay, so right away, because of step number 1 of looking to our levels, we're already biased, saying I'm looking for a long. Step number 2 was now we're looking at the higher time frames to say, are we looking to bottom out soon or are we coming down lower? And after looking at the 4-hour, 2-hour, and 1-hour, it looks like we're about to come up a little bit. Right? The 4-hour red dot was printed a while ago. The 2-hour VWAP is horizontal, looking like we're printing a bottom here. The 1-hour is looking like we're really about to print that bottom. And if we go to maybe the 45-minute, we can see we're really about to print a bottom. We really are about to print a bottom. Okay? Now that we have this established, we are going to come to our lower time frames, okay? Maybe the 6-minute. Maybe the 6-minute. And what are we going to look for? We're going to look for the divergences and the direction. We're going to see, what did we have on the way down? We had lower price, okay? And we had higher momentum waves. See this? As price was coming down, the momentum waves were coming up on the lower time frame. As we're coming down and touching our support, okay, printing a lower low, the momentum is printing a higher low. This is a sign that Bitcoin is undervalued. Come down to the 3-minute. What do we see on the 3-minute? The 3-minute, we see the same thing. We see that over time, we're getting the. I mean, this is actually super clear, right? On the 3-minute, we can see really that the divergence is here. Okay, we could even pull it from. From right here to right here, and even though it's a little bit less of a divergence, we can still see the clear divergence. But if we pulled it from there to here, that's a very clear bullish divergence. And on the 3-minute time frame, we see the divergence. We're seeing the money flow is starting to curve to the upside. We used to be printing exclusively below Market Cipher B. Now we're starting to print exclusively above Market Cipher B. We come down to the 1 minute. 1 minute, I mean, wow. This is extremely bullish on the 1 minute, because we are really getting the divergences on the 1 minute big time. Okay, look at this. This is extremely clear on the 1 minute. We could even pull it back farther on the 1 minute and see this massive bullish divergence where the price is coming down, dropping down, and yet the momentum is coming up. And so when we see that starting to happen, right, and once we hit our support and we see the bullish divergence, really what I like to wait to do is I like to wait and see a money flow crossover on the 1 minute. I like to wait and see a money flow crossover. Okay? I like to wait and see that the purple turns blue money flow. So boom, right here. Okay? If you want to be super safe, okay, you'll miss part of the move this way, but if you want to be super safe, I like to wait for a money flow crossover. If you want to be more risky, you can just wait for us to hit the support, then regain that support, and start printing the direction like that, okay, on the Market Cipher B. You can wait for us to drop below the support, come back above the support, and when you see Market Cipher is now printing, instead of printing red and green dots exclusively below the zero line, now we're printing red and green dots above the zero line, you could enter here. Or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, you could enter here, okay? The more conservative you are, the less of the move you're going to get, right? It's like our good friend George W. Bush, right? Our good friend George W. Bush, he's super conservative, right? Super conservative. He hates them terrorizers. He'll come to your country, right? He'll kill you. He's that conservative. But he ain't going to get the whole move. He ain't going to get the whole move. Because when he gets out of the office, you know, the move ain't over. And so here's the thing. It depends. If you want to be liberal, okay, like our good friend Joe Biden, right? Commander-in-Chief. Joe Biden would enter right here, and George W. Bush would enter up here, okay? That's really the only difference. But what you're going to do is you are going to enter your long position. You could enter when you see the momentum starting to print above here, right? So you could enter like right here. You're always going to put your stop loss below that last swing low. The reason you're going to do that is because if we come down and then we print a lower low, well, you were wrong. We're not getting a bounce. But if we come down and we print that low, then we come up and we print a higher low, but it could still come down pretty far. So you don't want to get wicked out. You want to make sure your stop loss is below that last swing low. And then again, you just set your take profits on the way up the same way that we set our take profits in the short, okay? Where, you look for sticking points. You look for sticking points on the price action, right? You could say we have one there. You could say we have one here. I'm just looking for sticking points, going back in time and looking where price has found sticking points on the 1 minute time frame, okay? Where you could just draw a horizontal line and they all come through, okay? Dubulb says, let's keep politics out of here. Hey, I'm not getting political. I'm just talking about my two favorite presidents, Bush and Biden. Okay. If you don't like Bush and if you don't like Biden, you don't have to be here, all right? But I like Bush and Biden. Their last name both starts with the same letter, which, to be honest with you guys, if I'm voting, I always make sure to prioritize a president whose last name starts with the letter B, okay? I always prioritize that. And, this trade here is a pretty struggly one. It's a pretty struggly trade. We would have been in this for a while, but we finally do hit our take profit. And this is why it's so important to set our stop loss below the last swing low. Because, look, if you wanted to set it up high here, you would have gotten wicked out, okay? But we set it below the last swing low. We came in, we printed our higher low on the 1 minute time frame. We didn't get wicked out. We hit our first take profit. We can take profit, We can move our stop loss to the entry point. Yeah, Biden, Bush, Bitcoin, everything that starts with the letter B I like. Biden, Bush, and Bitcoin. Biden, Bush, and Bitcoin. Biden, Bush, and Bitcoin. Biden, Bush, and Bitcoin. It's one of my favorite bluegrass songs. You move your stop loss. You know what's funny? I'm actually giving some good advice here. Some good advice mixed with some absolute nonsense. You guys got to chew the meat and spit the bones when you're listening to old Billy Casper. You got to chew the meat and spit the bones. Okay? Hit our first take profit. Maybe take 40% out of your trade. Move the stop loss to your entry. And then keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. And what happens? What happens? Well, you know, we come down a little, we come up a little, we come down a little, we come up a little, we come down a little, we come up a little, we come down a little, we come up a little, we come down a little, we come up a little, boom! Hit our second take profit. How long has it been since we entered the trade? It's been some time, guys. It's been some time. It's been about 3 hours and 27 minutes. You could have cut the grass. You could have taken your dog to the park, played on the swings, gone on the slide many times. Okay? Could have done a lot of things. Now, maybe take a little bit more out of your trade. You let this thing keep on riding. Keep on riding like Joe Biden, riding like George W. Bush, and Biden and Trump and Bush and George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. So, you know, you're not worried. Zigging and zagging coming through. Oh, boom, boom. Now look, now we hit all these take profits, okay? Now we have some options. We could take the whole trade out and look for another, or we could let a little bit more ride just to see what happens, guys. That's how we're going to look for the trades, okay? That's how. This is the order of operations. And again, if you want to learn all this in super detail, check out jasoncaspertrading.com. Gain the knowledge and skills you need to become a confident, profitable trader. A lot of people have taken this course, and it's totally changed the way they trade. And the goal of this is to help you to create your own strategy that you can back test for yourself. We go over Market Cipher in great detail. We go over technical analysis in great detail. How to create your own trading strategy, how to back test it. Various strategies that you can use right out of the box. Right out of the box. Guys, actually, let me take a look in here. Do we have enough likes that I can give a coupon? We have enough likes that I can give a coupon. My thing is, if we get 500 likes... Oh, wait, we don't have enough likes. If we get 500 likes, I will give a 19% off coupon for this course in the chat. I'll drop it in. 19% off if we can get 500 likes. If we can get 1,000 likes, I'll give it away for free. If we can get 3,000 likes, guys, 3,000 likes, do you know what I will do? I will give away 0.1 Bitcoin. 0.1 Bitcoin. 0.1 Bitcoin. Yeah. And guys, just so everybody knows, okay, first of all, I am not a political person, and I don't... This is not a political channel. Everything I say that has anything to do with politics is not my actual view. Just so everyone knows, okay? I don't like any president. Just throwing it out there. All right? Roland says, dude pumping his course. Seriously, dude? Yeah, dude. You know what? It's actually helped a lot of people. And here's the thing. The course is... I put a lot of work into that. And you can... Roland, if you don't want to pay for the course, just watch the videos on my channel, my friend. You will learn a lot just by watching the free stuff on my channel. I guarantee it, my friend. I guarantee it. Shout out to Daniel Prinsloo. Daniel Prinsloo is, you know what? If I was ever put in power as president, I would make Daniel Prinsloo in charge of every aspect of my political party. This dude, he really knows how to run a political party. I would vote Daniel Prinsloo for president. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, we got the 525 likes. So let me drop a coupon in the description. Let me see here. I have to create the coupon real quick. I have to create it from my cell phone. How much leverage is offered on the Jason Casper like button? A lot, guys. There's a lot of leverage on the Jason Casper like button. You can trade the Jason Casper like button on Bybit with up to 100 leverage. All right. You know what? Where's my good friend? Roland. Where's Roland? Where's my friend Roland? Where is here's Roland. Roland, you have won the prize, my friend. I am going to make your name Roland. Roland. That sounds like a country. Where are you from? I'm from Roland. Y'all ever heard of Roland? All right. 19% off. If you guys, there's only going to be 20 of these coupons that will work. 20. If you guys use the coupon code ROLAND, capital ROLAND, you can get 19% off. Shout out to Roland for pumping my course for me, my good friend Roland. I appreciate you teaming up with me. Appreciate Roland teaming up with me, guys. 19% off. 19% off for Roland. Good old Roland. Thank you, my friend. Do I enter these trades on leverage? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Casey wants to know, do you have any TA and analysis or just bull SH1T question mark? At the beginning, I did some analysis where I have my levels that I'm currently trading for Bitcoin. But the main purpose of this stream, if you take a look at the thumbnail, which let me see here. Where is my thumbnail? It's right here, the thumbnail. First, I gave my targets and my analysis, and then I was going over my Market Cipher strategy for bearish trends, which is basically the short setup that I showed in this stream is where I was showing how to find good shorts, and then I showed how to find a good long. And so if you go and rewatch the stream, you can find all this stuff, my good friend. But thank you for asking. Thank you for asking the question. Shout out to KC, my good friend. May the Lord bless you in Jesus' name. Roland is a good synth brand. Guys, a few things to keep in mind. Uh-oh, we're getting a big bounce. Somebody says we're getting a big bounce. Oh wait. This is replay mode. I thought that was real life. Let's see the big bounce in real life. I don't know if I'd call this a big bounce. But I would say that I'm pretty sure if a few of my take profit orders have gotten hit in my trade, because I was just doing my strategy, right, where I hit my take profits from previous sticking points, and I'm short from 35K. So you can see we've hit some nice sticking points, chicken points. Okay, so a few things to take away from this, guys. It's always important to always interpret the lower time frames through the higher time frames. If you're looking at Market Cipher B, okay, and you see that we are like starting to print a green dot, for example, make sure that you're interpreting what you see on the lower time frames through the higher time frames. So right now, it really does look like we are, it's hard to say. It's actually really hard to say. But it looks like we're bottoming out on the higher time frames, right? The 4 hour, the 5 hour, the 2 hour. It looks like the VWAP's about to cross back over here. But it looks like we're about to bottom out. If you see on the 2 hour, the 4 hour time frame that it looks like we're about to start printing a green dot, you need to keep that in mind when you're looking at the lower time frames. You need to say, okay, we're at a support. It looks like the lower time frame is about to print a green dot. Like a great example would have been right down here, right? We come down here to a support, a value area low that we had marked out on our chart, okay? a value area low. We're coming to the support. We can see that it looks like the 2 hour is about to print the green dot. So our bias automatically is we're coming to a support where we're looking for a long. The higher time frames are looking like they're going to bottom out. So if we come down to the 1 minute time frame, okay, if we see red dots on the 1 minute time frame when the higher time frames are looking like they're about to bottom out, we can't take them too seriously, okay? We need to interpret the lower time frames through the higher time frames. A great example is this. If you see, for example, that we're about to print a red dot on the 4 hour time frame, okay, a red dot on the 4 hour time frame right here. Okay, we're coming up to a resistance right here, to a resistance. Red dot looking like it's about to print, right? We hit our resistance. We come to the 4 hour. We say, okay, it looks like we're coming up. Is a red dot about to print? I don't know yet. We come to the 2 hour. We can see, look, it looks like we're about to curve over or about to print the red dot. We come to the 1 hour. It looks like we're really about to print the red dot. This means that when you go down to the lower time frames, it doesn't matter if you see something like, whoa, this is sloppy. It doesn't matter if you see double bottom snake eyes, green dots on the 1 minute time frame, right? This stuff doesn't matter. This stuff right here doesn't matter. Okay? If the higher time frames are about to print the red dot, this stuff doesn't matter on the lower time frames. You need to interpret the lower time frames through the lens of the higher time frames. That's very important. This is actually the trade that I was looking at, that I took the other day, where basically we were coming up to our resistance here. Okay, we were coming up to our resistance. This is an example of a perfect trade setup, guys. Literally, if you only wait for setups like this, I guarantee that you will be a profitable trader. So we come up to the resistance, we get our alert on this blue line, we open up our 4 hour time frame. It's inconclusive. We can't tell if price is going to continue up or start to come down. So we zoom into the 2 hour time frame. We can see now that the VWAP is starting to come down. We zoom into the 1 hour time frame. We can see the VWAP is really starting to come down, and we're about to print that dot. So now when we go to the lower time frames, maybe the 6 minute, what are we looking for again? Well, we're looking for the divergence. And what do we see? We see a divergence. We see the momentum is coming down, and we see that the price is coming up. The price is printing higher highs, and the momentum is printing lower highs. We can even see, and this is important too, if you see the money flow is coming down while we're also printing higher highs on the price, this is a really intense indication that we're about to come down. If you're looking for a short, if money flow is coming down while price is going up, that really means, think about it, money is coming out of Bitcoin and yet the price is going up. That means it's way overvalued. Then go down to the 3 minute time frame. You can see the divergence is even more so on the 3 minute time frame. I mean, look at this, right? We can draw the divergence from way back there all the way to here and see a massive bearish divergence. And then you come to the 1 minute time frame. The 1 minute time frame is where you would look for your entry. Remember, we're already having short confirmations. So don't see this and think, oh, we're coming up higher. Okay, you have to interpret this through the lens of the higher time frames. We already know we're looking for a short here. The entry would be, well, there's a lot of different entries. First of all, like I said before, you can enter when you see the direction where Market Cipher is starting to print from exclusively above the zero line to exclusively below the zero line. That's the first place you could enter. A more conservative George W. Bush entry would be if you wait for the money flow crossover on the 1 minute. Will give you the most conservative entry. Okay, so let's see where that boom. Nope. Boom. Okay, right here. This is where I would probably enter, right? I love to wait for that money flow crossover. I love to wait for it. Now we can enter our short position. We enter right here. We put our stop loss above the last swing high. And then we set our take profits down. Okay, so we're interpreting the lower time frames through the lens of the higher time frames. prioritize the dots on the higher time frames and the money flow and the direction and the divergences on the lower time frames. So when we go to the 4-hour time frame, we're looking for the dots, right? We're looking for those dots, and we're trying to determine what color dot is about to print. Are we about to print red, or are we about to print green? Because whichever one it's going to be is going to determine our short-term direction. Then when we come down to the 1 minute, instead of looking at the dots, on the 1 minute we're going to be looking at direction and money flow, right? We don't care about the dots. I don't care that there's a big green dot on the 1 minute, okay? That's not going to influence my decision at all. What is going to influence my decision is the fact that the higher time frames are showing that we're coming down, and I can see now on the lower time frames that the money flow is coming down. The money flow is coming down, and overall Market Cipher itself is printing lower and lower waves, right? I see a very clear direction. In fact, you should be able to draw the trend lines on Market Cipher like this and just see that we are indeed coming down, right? We're now Market Cipher is moving in a downward channel. And then the third thing to keep in mind is always make sure to put your stop loss above that last swing high or swing low. It has to be above the last swing. You can't cheat and have a tight stop loss. You'll probably get wicked out. Go back and watch the stream, the trade we took, the second trade we took. Remember, we would have gotten wicked out if we didn't stick to that, put the stop loss above the last swing high. Okay? It's important. Another thing, guys, if let's say you have all your confirmations, you enter the trade, you just get wicked out, but then the trade comes back and starts doing its thing, you can get back in. I do that a lot. All right, let's come into the chat here. See if anyone has any questions about this, you know. Where's Jedediah Silver? Everyone keeps talking about Jedediah Silver. Jedediah Silver has a crystal ball. It says buy physical gold. I love physical gold. I love it. I love it. My favorite thing about it is when the peacekeeping. Never mind. I cannot go there. I'm a big fan of physical metals. I am actually. At the end of the day, everything is worthless when it comes to physical things. I'm not talking about spiritual things. Spiritual things, the only thing that matters is that we know the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus. That's the only thing that matters, right? Because everything in the world belongs to him. But as far as physical things go, material things go, the only two things that actually are true wealth are land and animals. That's it. Everything that people work for, everything that people strive for in life at the end of the day is to acquire things that come from land and animals. Land, you can get wood, you can dig, get water from a well. Animals, you can have meat. Land, you can grow food, grow vegetables, grow fruits, raise your own meat, raise your own livestock. So if you really want to acquire things that can help you if times get tough, you should be focusing on land and animals. Seriously. Start a homestead if you can. Start a homestead. And guys, here's the thing. Yeah, Clay, you know, I was just having this conversation with my wife about, unfortunately, you never really own your property, right? You're just renting it from the government, yeah. Yeah, I understand that. It's a shame, but there's some places in the world where actually there are no property taxes. So maybe someday we can all escape to there. The Shire Crier says, is 2021 no need for homestead? That's true. Yeah. No need for a homestead. Yeah. Don't worry. We have everything we need at the supermarket. You know, the good old supply chain will never let us down. Will Schmidt, my price targets. Well, if we're unable to reclaim 35K, then my price targets are. Let me pull up the old chart here. If we're unable to reclaim 35K, then my targets are 31, 26, and then 23. Those are the levels that I would really be looking to enter longs in. And as far as those are my big targets. Well, obviously we'll have intermediate targets as well, right? I mean, you could have a level right here at 33. That's a pretty clear level, and you could even say that we came down and hit this wick right here, 33.5, and we're getting a bounce off of it, right? That's a very valid support and resistance line. Let's go to the daily time frame and take a look at that line right there. I mean, this was our resistance all the way back on January 4th. It was our support January 11th. It was our support again January 20th. It was a massive resistance on January 25th when Elon Musk did hashtag Bitcoin on his Twitter. It was a resistance on January 28th as well. Resistance again on February 1st. So yeah, we're obviously getting a reaction off of that level as well. And in fact, let's see what we could have seen using the strategy that I just outlined here. Could have say, okay, we're coming down to that level. Looks like we're about to start getting the green dot on the 4 hour. Looks like you could say, well, actually, because we were getting the red dot on the 1 hour, this would have actually kept me from entering that long. So right here, because the order of operations, you don't enter a trade unless all these things are true, I would not have entered a long right there because of this red dot as we're touching right here. Maybe the second time we touch, you could say it looks like we're starting to bottom out, and then you could go to the lower time frames and see what you can see. But to be honest with you, I don't see any kind of divergence here. I see momentum coming up while price is coming up. I see price coming down with the momentum coming down. I don't see any kind of divergence. So right here, I don't think I would have entered long right here. I don't think I would have entered long. Yeah, I don't think so. Not using this Market Cipher strategy. Not using the Market Cipher strategy. Here's the thing, guys. You can come up with a whole bunch of different strategies, combinations of strategies. You don't have to do this exactly, but it's definitely if you stick to it, will get you some good trade entries, and also will prevent you from over trading for sure. All right, guys. Shout out to Roland, who gave us this discount code. Okay, if you go to jasoncaspertrading.com, okay, jasoncaspertrading.com, and purchase the course with that code, you will get 19% off. Also, guys, if you don't have Market Cipher and you're trying to get Market Cipher, there's a 5% discount in the description of the video. I'll drop it here. Yes. Agendas interpretatus interceficatus says mortgage means, death pledge, literally. Yep, mort, like mortician, right? Death. I always thought it meant death contract, but you know what? I don't know whatever language it comes from. French, Latin, I don't know. Siddharth Shiva says, stop spamming Jason, and he laughs at me. Bro, I'm a shiller, right? I shill my own course. I shill Market Cipher. I shill Bybit, guys. If you want to sign up for Bybit, you can get some sweet rewards doing this. It's the YouTube game, guys. It's the YouTube game. It really is. But don't actually do this. Don't use the Margex exchange. I no longer support them. So don't go to Margex. Jimbo is in a 111% short trade thanks to my TA. Awesome, Jimbo. Awesome. Okay, it's Latin. Cool. I'm not good at Latin. I know Hebrew, little Aramaic, a little tiny bit of Greek, My risk management strategy is I don't risk more than 5% of my trading account. I enter, it depends. I try to limit in ARC Studios TV when I enter a trade. Sometimes you got to take that market order, right? Sometimes you got to take that market order. Did I ever close the trade? The trade that I'm in right now? I don't think so. I hit some take profits, but I definitely didn't close the trade. It's still open. It's still open. Oh, you're talking about the Margex trade. Yeah, eventually that thing closed out. Eventually that Margex trade closed out automatically. And yes, Progressive Martian, I also shill Biden and Bush. Guys, if you don't yet have Biden or Bush, click the link in the description of the video. You can get some good old George W. I love me some George W. Finger looking good. Eat me some George W. Drop them in the deep fryer. Drop that Bush into the deep fryer. Nice and crispy. That crispy Bush is what I like. You know? That crispy Bush. Some good stuff. The old George Dubs. And same with Biden. You know, I love me some Biden too. Give me some Biden. Some nice Biden. Yeah, W. Some nice W. Yeah. Yeah, guys, I did reduce my Patreon price by 50%. The reason is because, shout out to Daniel Prinsloo, who is dropping the mortgage. The word comes from Old French, literally dead pledge, from mort and gage pledge. Thank you, Daniel Prinsloo. Yeah, guys, the reason is because my Patreon, I dropped it by 50%. Because now that it's June, I just don't have as much time as I used to study the charts and give trade signals. And so I dropped it by 50%, more than 50%, because I'm still going to be doing my trades, but not as many. And I just want to make sure everything's a fair price for y'all. That's why. So buy orders in at 28. Yeah, we got some crispy Bush in the house. Play some guitar. You know, I don't think I have a guitar down in this basement right here. NWO says something I cannot say on YouTube without getting shadow banned. Thank you for that comment there. Okay, people, we're getting a bounce. People say we're getting a bounce right here. I mean, honestly, it looks pretty bouncy. This is the 1 hour time frame. It's looking pretty nice. We got a massive 1 minute candle. Massive 1 minute candle. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Guys, look at this one candle. Can you imagine if this was like a 4 hour candle? How awesome this would be if this was a 4 hour candle and you longed. If this was a 4 hour candle and you longed right down here, that would just be so sick. That would be so sick. That would be. So, you know, just objectively here, I would like to say that until we come above this level right here and put in a higher high, which we very well may, I wouldn't consider this an actual bounce, but it absolutely was a nice scalp right here, and this could be our bounce. We did a double bottom on the 1 minute, and I mean, that's a nice, you know, 1.69%. That's a super nice 1.69%. Yeah, so if anyone longed that, shout out to you and congrats. Shout out to you and congrats for your long there. And again, guys, we are bottoming out in these time frames, right? This really could be a super nice long position. Look at this wick on the 4 hour. I mean, that's a nice wick. I'm not gonna lie, that is a nice wick. But this is why it's important to lock in profits, guys. That's why it's important to lock in your profits, for sure. Because honestly, this is a nice bounce that we're getting here. Let's go to the 3 minute time frame and see what we can see here. I really would like to see divergences, but the fact that we're about to get the money flow cross on the 3 minute, and we're seeing now Market Cipher was printing down below, now starting to print up above, that is a nice thing to see. That is a very nice thing to see. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to cut the stream, but yeah, time-based fib can predict the low. It can, and to be honest, Android Doctor, I'm not specialized in that. I do not have that down, so I cannot comment on it. I didn't alter Market Cipher, just the colors. Benjamin Asbury, do I know you, man? Do I know you? Are you friends with my wife? By any chance, Benjamin Asbury? Shout out to Memory Man in the chat here. Benjamin Asbury, if you are friends with my wife, let me know. And I will, first of all, a candle. A candle is just one of these things on the chart here. Each one of these little purple and green things here is called a candle. It's called a candle. And it just shows you the volatility of the price during a specific time period. So if you're on a 1 minute chart, each one of these candles is a 1 minute price movement. And if you're on a 4-hour chart, each candle represents 4 hours of price movement. That's what it does. So Bojan asks, is it too late to long it? I can't answer that. Okay, Benjamin Asbury. Yeah, okay, you are friends with my wife then. Cool, man. Thanks for being here. And Ben LDT says potential bullish div on the 1 hour. Yeah, yeah, I would say that. I would say there's a potential bullish div on the 1 hour. I would even say that we have a massive bullish div going on here, right? So we could see. I mean, honestly, this is pretty nice. Is it too late to long? Like, I don't like to long in the middle of a move, but I can't say it's too late, right? What I would wait for another green dot or something. But this is looking. We just got the money flow cross on the 3 minute. But the 1 minute looks like we might come down a little bit. So I can't say. I really only like to when price is this volatile. I really like to wait for price to come to a level before I long or short. Okay, and right now I'm already short. I've already hit some take profits. Still up 40%. After I come out of this stream, I'm going to reassess everything. But guys, thank you for being here. I do pray that the Lord blesses each one of you in the name of Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah. Shout out to LS. Is this a real coin? Shout out to How to Survive in the Woods. Give a man to fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for life. Then he says, Jesus. Yeah, Jesus is the answer to everything and the reason for everything. And it's only through Jesus that we can actually exist in a state that humanity was originally created to exist in, which is face-to-face relationship with God. And so with that being said, guys, let me receive this blessing. Receive this blessing. Whether you believe in God or not, whether you worship Jesus, the creator of heavens and the earth, or you don't believe in any God, or you worship Satan, receive this blessing in the Hebrew language. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom b'shem Yeshua HaMashiach Elohei Yisrael, which means in English, may the Lord bless you and protect you, and may he cause his face to shine light upon you, and may he have grace upon you, and may the Lord lift up his face, his countenance upon you, and give you wholeness in the name of Jesus, the Messiah, the God of Israel. And again, guys, you know, it's important to always stay oriented because there's so many things in life that simply don't matter and can steal our attention and our focus away from the eternal things that do matter. And at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is a person's relationship with their Creator. So I do pray that the Lord reveals Himself to each one of you in a very personal way. And yeah, peace to all of you. And God bless you, Savage Trader. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. People are saying, that we're coming down. Yes, Najib, this is religious analysis for Bitcoin. Absolutely. Sometimes we get super religious. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we do. Peace, Memory Man. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Benjamin Asbury, who studied a little bit of Hebrew. Anil Heavyweight. I love Hebrew. I love Hebrew. I love to study the scripture in the original language. All right, guys. Peace out. Shout out to Roland. See y'all in the next stream.